Well, Blue Jays fans, you have to wait until probably like 2, 3 in the morning to find out who your team is going to be facing in the ALCS. Let's go to Seattle. Tigers, Mariners, bottom of the second. Bill Mitch Garver at the plate with the sac fly. That brings home Canadian Josh Naylor. Mariners strike first. It's 1-0. Let's jump to top of the sixth. Kerry Carpenter launches one deep for a 2-run homer. Tigers suddenly grab the 1-run lead. They're tied at 2 now. In the 15th inning, Jorge Polanco lines one to right. J.P. Crawford could have just crawled to home plate for the winning run. Seattle win the marathon game 5, 3-2. They will now travel to Toronto to take on the Jays for the ALCS. For more on this, we're joined by Adam Peddle from Bad for Baseball Blue Jays Today podcast. I think Bad for Baseball is your email. Blue Jays Today is the podcast. Everything's good for Blue Jays baseball right now, though, for multiple reasons. Did you stay up to watch that Mariners-Tigers game? You kind of look it a little bit.
I made it to inning 14.
Woof.
And then of course right when I left, that's when obviously they ended up winning that thing. But I felt like I did my job. I was watching up until very much close to the bitter end right there, and I am a little disappointed. I do wish that the Detroit would have been the opponent for the Toronto Blue Jays, but ultimately, you know what? It is going to make for a great story when the Toronto Blue Jays inevitably beat the Seattle Mariners and can exercise those demons from 2022 back when we had that heartbreaking wild card collapse.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I do think Josh Turner has grown since then. Obviously, he was 0-for in the playoffs. He's now stacking some pretty sizable wins, notably against the Yankees. But what was it about the Mariners on paper that made you think, you know what, I'd rather play the Tigers?
I just think that they're a much deeper lineup. I honestly think that I look at the Seattle Mariners and they are what I think New York wanted to be. They have the power. They have a lot of home run in that lineup. Cal Raleigh, Randy Rosarina, Julio Rodriguez. There's a lot of guys in there that can slug, but they're also capable of scoring in other ways. They're third or were third in Major League Baseball in terms of stolen bases in 2025. So they can run the bases really well. They get on base a lot. They're just a lot more balanced than I think the New York Yankees were. And on top of all of that, their pitching staff and their bullpen, arguably one of the deepest in all of baseball. I mean, you look up and down that thing, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Louis Castillo, Brian Wu, who I should imagine is going to be coming back off the IL, should be joining the Seattle Mariners in the ALCS. There's a lot of good starters in there. The one benefit, of course, for Toronto is that they didn't have to play a 15-inning ball game yesterday and obviously got a couple days of rest. So game one, they should be feeling pretty good. But Seattle's certainly a very deep roster.
Yeah, I have no doubt. But yeah, they went through 3 of their starters. I guess we'll find out who the starter for game one will be Sunday night. We know that Kevin Gausman's going to be starting game one for the Blue Jays. What advantages do you think the Blue Jays have against the Mariners, though?
I think that ultimately right now we are the hottest team in all of baseball, man. You look at the and I know it's a really small sample size, but in 4 games in the postseason right now, the Toronto Blue Jays team-wide OPS is just shy of 1,000. And for those of you who are not extremely familiar with all the statistics in baseball, just understand that is really bloody good. So the Toronto Blue Jays offense is just alive right now. And ultimately, they got to do that, and they got to play their game. These pitchers are only as good as you allow them to be. If you're fighting off the tough pitches, as they were doing against the New York Yankees, and you are able to be patient and take those borderline ones that, in years past, we've seen them swing at and miss, that is how the Toronto Blue Jays are going to find success here. They do have the advantage when you're just talking about overall runs scored in terms of all 2025. Their offense has been slightly better than Seattle. So I do think that Toronto can win this series if that offense can continue to stay within their game plan and don't allow guys like Louis Castillo or Logan Gilbert to get comfortable on the bump. because when they get going, it's really tough to slow them down. And as we've seen this Toronto Blue Jays lineup, they are they're very good at slowing down these pitchers when they play their game.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe that game will add a Bo Bichette. We'll have to see. We have to wait to see what their ALCS roster makeup will be. That's Adam Peddle, Blue Jays Today podcast. Thanks for so much jumping on the horn with us, talking about the ALCS matchup. Yeah, I think it might go the distance. Might not be good for my nerves, but I think it's going to be a good one. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Of course.